Okay, fellas, here we are again, back in the Champions League playoff. We know how this works. Let's see if we can go one better than last season, eh? Bit of redemption.
Looking for trouble and fights, but you found me. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I'm glad you're someone to rely on, someone to rely on. No, I'm a screw up, but baby, I could be someone to rely on, someone to rely on, someone to rely on.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 51 of Husavik Heroes here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well. In today's episode, as you have been able to tell by the intro, we have the Champions League playoff. Can we make our way into the group stages of the Champions League for the first time in this save, taking on Sparta Prague across two legs? If you are looking forward to this one, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying this series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we have played no games since the end of yesterday's episode, which, if you missed it, was the third qualifying round. Then I'll leave a link to that above my head in the top right corner. A very tight tie that was against Red Star Belgrade, but we got through that, and our reward is another Champions League playoff. We got to this stage last season, got knocked out by a Turkish team, and went down into the Europa League group stages. Hopefully this time we can make our way into the Champions League group stages, albeit if we don't do that, it might not be the worst thing. We might not quite be ready for the strength of the Champions League yet, I kind of feel like, but it would be nice to just test ourselves at that level after making our way to third in the group stages of the Europa League last season. If we did go down to the Europa League again, I'd like to improve on that a little bit and get into those Europa League playoffs instead of the Conference League. But we will see how things go today. We are taking on Sparta Prague. You can see the other ties in the Champions path on screen there. Having a quick look at these guys before we do get into the first leg of this tie, which is at our home away from home in Reykjavik, the Laugardas Vola. There is what Sparta Prague looked like as we ran through yesterday. They've got a squad which doesn't have any names there that look too scary, so it's a tie that we could actually win. We might be able to sneak our way into that Champions League group draw. They are currently top of the league in the Czech Republic, and they have just a little bit of a gap over the rest of the league, albeit early days in their season with only 7 games played. We are in a very strong position still in our domestic league, same as where we left it off at the end of yesterday's episode. But as I said, going to be interesting to see how we get on here against the champions of the Czech Republic. There's been no re-registration window since yesterday's episode either, so we've got exactly the same squad available for this game, and we will come back shortly, see if we can make our way through to the Champions League group draw for 2025-26. First leg coming up from the Laugardas Vola. And here are the team sheets for this first leg. Our 11 exactly the same as it was for the second leg of that tie against Red Star Belgrade. Larson still starting on the right wing while Nygaard is out injured. Our bench is also exactly the same. Sparta Prague on the right hand side, as I've said a few times now. No names there that I recognise. Hopefully we can get a good result here to take into the away leg. Coming up to the 7-minute mark, and we have the first highlight of this game, a throw-in inside the final third. Can we get on the score sheet nice and early? Bjarkason just inside the box. Back out to Diaz, who did make that throw-in. Nicolusi Caviglia just outside the box. His shot is deflected. He's scored a few from that range from the situation so far this season, but we're just knocking the ball about. Galtason unleashes one. Brynjar Galtason, his second goal of the season. What a way to start off this Champions League playoff. That is a contender for goal of the season. It's an absolute screamer from the young defensive midfielder. One of the few changes starting 11-wise that we have made for the team that did take part in these games from last season. That is a stunning strike into the top right corner. 1-0 Volsungur, nice and early. And now 12 minutes gone, and we do have a free kick. Corbo takes it short. Nice ball there for Bjarkason. Just puts that the wrong side of the near post, creating some good chances early. 1-0 up. 27 minutes gone. Another highlight potentially here in our favour. A corner. It does fall to a Sparta Prague player, but we get possession back just outside the belt. Galtason off the back of that stunning goal, which opened the scoring. How big could that goal be over these two legs, and we do keep possession here. Larson down the right-hand side. Nice ball there for Swiderski. Takes it round the goalkeeper. Gets a little bit of height on that shot, but just gets it in under the crossbar, and we have started this game off red hot. It is 2-0 Volsungur, just shy of the half-hour mark in this first leg. It's one of those really nice runs our midfielders make, and he just gets that in under the crossbar. Probably didn't need to put quite as much power on that one there, but we go 2-0 up in the first leg. 41 minutes gone. It's a set piece yet again in our favour. Galtus on Mbiyamba, far post. The goalkeeper makes a meal of it. Will it be 3-0? Looks like VAR is going to check this. This would be a superb scoreline in the first leg. And the first half, and the goal has been awarded. What a half of football this has been from Volsungur here. The goalkeeper just ended up in absolutely no man's land. Galtus gets an assist to go alongside his goal. Our players are nowhere near offside there really, and we should be going into the sheds at halftime with a very nice 3-0 lead in this first leg. If we can just hold on to this, not concede any goals in the second half, we will put ourselves in a great position to be making our way through to that Champions League group draw at the end of today's episode. But that is a superb half. We will make no changes off the back of that. 3-0 Volsungur, starting off the second 45 minutes of the first leg. And 59 minutes gone, it's time for us to make our first substitution. Pretty quiet start in the second half compared to what happened in the first half, but Bjarkason on the left wing is down to a 6.5 rating, and a yellow heart will bring Ledson on for him, but still in a good position, 3-0 up. And approaching the 71-minute mark now, time for us to make our second substitution. Still no highlights here in the second half, but Swiderski down to a red heart. Torstein Arnason will come on for him. 20 minutes left, still 3-0 to Volsungur. And not too long off the back of that second substitution, we finally get a highlight in the second half of this first leg. Gabriel Corbo with a free kick, tries to put that top right corner, doesn't quite get enough curve on it there, does our centre back, but we now have a few other players down to a red heart, so it's time for us to make our last substitution of this game. And given the options that we do have on the bench, we will bring Gavioli on for the captain, Nicolusi Caviglia. 15 minutes left, still up by 3-0. And entering the last few minutes of this first leg, it's been a very quiet second half, but that first half was absolutely superb, exactly what we needed. Hopefully no more highlights here in injury time, at least in Sparta Prague's favour, and indeed a very, very quiet second half, but those 3 first half goals put us in a really strong position to make our way into the Champions League group stage. We just need to not bottle things in the away leg, because we are going to be taking a very strong 3-0 lead into that second leg. In between now and then, we do have an Islands Dealden game against HK, but we'll bring you guys the highlights of that off the back of that second leg. So we'll come back shortly and see if we can get the job done and make our way through to that Champions League group stage draw. And here are the team sheets for the second leg. We have made just a few substitutions, a few players a little bit more injury prone than others, and being 3-0 up, I feel like we might just have the opportunity here to rest those guys, despite this being a pretty big game. That 3-0 lead does play into our favour with making changes. So in the midfield, Swiderski is partnered by Gavioli, with Nicolusi Caviglia just being a little bit injury prone. We'll make sure he is going to be fit and available for the group stages of whatever competition we do end up in. And up front, we have also made a change. Benjamin Rubio coming in for Yao Pedro. He's a little bit injury prone at the moment as well. So we'll just introduce those guys off the bench if we do need them, but those are the only changes. In fact, we've also actually got Ian Carlo at right back instead of Coutinho for exactly the same reasons. So 3 changes to our starting lineup from that first leg, but hopefully we can hold on to our advantage from the first leg and make the group stages of the Champions League for the first time. 12 minutes gone, we have our first highlight here of the second leg. Exactly the same uniforms as from the first leg. So far, no shots from either team, so we might be about to see the first one in this upcoming highlight. Still in a good position off the back of that 3-0 first leg. And it's Benjamin Rubio, Ian Carlo, 2 of the players that we brought into the team for the second leg. And surely that's the goal that seals our place now in the group stages of the Champions League. We are making mincemeat of Sparta Prague at the moment. Ian Carlo just in a ton of space there down the right-hand side, and Rubio rockets that into the top right corner. 4-0 Volsungur on aggregate early in the second leg. 27 minutes gone, it's a corner here to Sparta Prague, their first real highlight in their favour over these 2 legs so far, but we do get possession straight back. Bjarkason starts to make headway down the left-hand side, but so far it has been utter domination from us across these 2 legs, and hopefully we can keep this up, but we should already be in a position now where we are making our way into the Champions League group stage draw for the first time as a club. And Ian Carlo yet again in a lot of space there down the right-hand side. Mbiyamba just holding the ball up, plays that across for Corbo. We are forced back to Sarah Fellaini. He clears that, but it's a bit of a thump down the middle, and it is Sparta Prague back in possession. They are now getting something going here down the left-hand side. Put a ball into the mixer, and it's a bit of a soft goal that Lucas Julis is able to get Sparta Prague on the score sheet for the first time in this tie. And on the day, it is 1-1, but we do still hold that free goal advantage from the first league. It was a bit of a poor giveaway that from Sarah Fellaini, just hoofed that towards Benjamin Rubio. Never really got near him, and they got something going on the counter-attack, and it is 1-1 on the day, 4-1 on aggregate to Volsungur, half an hour through the second leg.
Yeah.
And 35 minutes gone in the second leg, and unfortunately, we tried to avoid this with those changes that we did make before the game, but Bjarkason has picked up an injury. What that means is we will do the same changes that we did in the last game. Ledson will come on for him. We'll just have a little bit of a look at what this injury actually is. It's an arm injury, so hopefully it's one that he can actually play through off the back of coming off in today's game. That's a little bit of a downer. Hopefully it's not too serious. Still up by 3 goals as we approach halftime in the second leg. And that is halftime in the second leg. Still 1-1. Pretty even game so far. Not many chances for either team. Luckily we took ours and they did take theirs. Still got that 3 goal advantage, which is nice. We are going to make our second substitution here. Fredrik Larsson not having the greatest game on the right wing on a 6.3 rating. Our right wing backup on the bench these days is Porstein Arnason, so he can come on for him. 2 subs used at halftime of the second leg, but we should still be making our way through to the Champions League group stage draw with a 3 goal advantage and only 45 minutes left to play. 54 minutes gone. First highlight here of the second half. It is a corner in our favour. Mbiyamba gets on the end of that. Good save from the goalkeeper, but we do get possession back, and Mbiyamba gets another chance and puts it in the left corner, and that is surely going to secure our place in the group stages of the Champions League. Now we have a 4 goal advantage with 35 minutes plus injury time left. It was a good initial chance there to Mbiyamba, forced a really good save out of the goalkeeper. Sviderski, though, with a really nice ball just to get that right on the end of Mbiyamba's head. Tucks it away, and we are now up by 4 goals late here in this tie, albeit straight off the back of that goal. It is a highlight in Sparta Prague's favour. Can they get back in this straight away on the day anyway? I still think we're in a very good position to be making the group stages with that 4 goal advantage, but they could now make things a little bit interesting on the day. Krejci, a lot of space there. He squares that across the face of goal for Martin Mintchev, and indeed, straight away, they do get the scoreline back 2-2. That's a little bit frustrating, it has to be said. Straight off the back of us striking, we let them right in, given too much space there on their right-hand side, much like Ian Carlo was for the first goal that we scored today. Squares it nicely, simple tap in there for Mintchev, and it's back 2-2 all on the day, but up 5-2 on aggregate. And I think we're going to make our third and final substitution at this stage as well, with Gavioli down to a red heart. Nicolucci Caviglia can come on for him. 30 minutes left, still up by 3 goals. In the 84th minute, we do have a throw-in late in this game. We have upped the tempo just to see if we can pinch a victory from this game. We'll be going through anyway, so we might as well try just to see if that would help the coefficient out if we did win both legs of this tie. Not too sure if it will, but we do have that cushion where we can go for it and not be too worried if it doesn't come off. Hopefully that does eventuate here, but we are in a great position, should be making our way through to the Champions League group stage draw for the first time in this save. So far we have been making the Conference League group stages, the Europa League group stages last season, and now it looks like the Champions League group stage. So we are showing good improvement at each season that we do have in Europe in this save, and we are looking very good domestically at the moment as well. So hopefully some of our first team players might get a bit of a rest going in to these Champions League games. They do get a goal that will win them this tie on the day potentially, though, with 5 minutes left. We were a bit sloppy in possession before we give the ball back to Sparta Prague. Mintchev plays it back to Takash. Good flick on there, and Karabek is able to tuck that away in the bottom right corner. So going to that higher tempo might have been a little bit of a mistake there, but we do still have a 2-goal advantage as we enter the last couple of minutes of this tie. A little bit unfortunate to be losing this game, as you can tell by the stats and the XG, but thankfully we had that good advantage from the first leg, and that is what will see us make our way into the Champions League group stage draw, which will be coming up off the back of highlights against that game that we did play against HK in between these two legs. But over both legs, a very good performance. That first leg win was oh so important, and we make our way through to that draw off the back of a 5-3 win over Sparta Prague on aggregate, despite losing that second leg 3-2 away from home. And we'll come back shortly for those HK highlights and also for the Champions League group stage draw. And here are the highlights from that league game against HK that we did play in between that Champions League playoff against Sparta Prague. Took us until the half-hour mark to open the scoring at home here, but Ledson slotted through Rubio to put us 1-0 up. Unfortunately, we did concede not long off the back of this. This was the first goal that we have conceded in the league all season, so it's taken a long time for a team domestically to break us down. But late in this game, in the 94th minute, Kurt Shaun just gets a little bit of help from the underside of the crossbar, and we keep our invincible record going in the league. Still yet to lose a game, conceded a goal for the first time, but yet again we pick up the 3 points thanks to that late header from Kurt Shaun and escape with a 2-1 win. Definitely our closest game domestically so far this season. But what that means for the league table, you'll also notice that off the back of that, that was our first defeat there against Sparta Prague since way back when we did take on Napoli in the second leg of that Conference League quarterfinal. So it's been a long time since we have tasted defeat, albeit doesn't really feel like it hurts us too much, seeing as we are still going through to the Champions League group stage draw. But what that means for the league, just to show you guys that indeed that was the first goal that we've conceded all season. We are now 14 from 14 on 42 points. The magic number is now 46 because Valerakjevic do have a game in hand on HK. They could still get 15 more points, so we only need 5 more points to secure the league title. So that could be 2 more games, and there's a quite distinct possibility that we will wrap up the league season here in Iceland, wrap up that title before we play our first Champions League group game, and that would be perfect because then we can focus entirely on that competition while we do round out the league season. But fair to say, we will be champions in Iceland for the 3rd straight season. And before we do get into the group stage draw for the Champions League, a few other things to update you guys on medical centre-wise. Bjarkason fractured his lower arm in that second leg. He can play through the injury, but he is going to be affected by it for 4 weeks to 2 months. Also, Patrick Nygaard is now just 1 day away from coming back from his groin strain. He will be available for the group stages of the Champions League. And we also pop over to the finance screen so you guys can see the injection of cash that we have had thanks to making the group stages of the Champions League. It was about 4 million our balance before we did play that playoff game, but now we have jumped up to £16.5 million. That is a significantly larger injection than we would have got if we only made the group stages of the Europa League. So even though this might be a little bit tougher for us than it was last season, we are potentially going to be lambs to the slaughter in this competition. It is a very nice cash injection to offset that, and also means we should have a quite nice budget going into next season as well. It is guaranteed to be a minimum of £3 million, but the wage budget is going to go up to £105,000 a week, currently at £47,000 a week. So just based on that, something similar did happen last year. We should get a decent transfer budget going into the start of next season domestically. But I think that wraps up everything that we do need to cover off before we do get into the draw for the Champions League. We are in the 4th pot for this, as you would expect, despite us having a pretty good season in Europe last year by making the Conference League quarterfinals before we were knocked out by Napoli, as you did see before. And now we do have a look at the teams who are in the Champions League this season. First seeds, PSG, Man United, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Juventus, Real Madrid, Porto, and Ajax. That's going to be tough for us no matter what team we get out of those. Maybe Porto and Ajax, a group with them would be in our favour, albeit it's going to depend on the other seeds that do get drawn into their groups. We'll probably come back and show you guys what the groups do look like after the third seeds are drawn, making our way down to the second seeds, and a lot of strong teams here. Liverpool, Man City, Dortmund, Barcelona, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, AC Milan, and Atalanta are in the second pot. We make our way down a little bit further to have a look at the teams in the third pot just above where we are. RB Leipzig, Bayer Leverkusen, both from Germany. Then you've got Athletic Club from Spain, Rangers, Zenit, Lyon, Young Boys, and Sporting of Portugal. A few more teams there which we might be able to potentially beat. Hopefully that is the case, because if we want to get into the knockouts of the Europa League, we will need to finish third in our group. There is no prize for finishing fourth in your Champions League group. You do not get thrown into the Conference League or anything like that. And going down to the bottom seeds, where we are amongst them, actually ranked one of the better teams down in this fourth pot, which is nice. Just above us are Feyenoord, Nice, and Fenerbahce, and just below us Celtic, Midtjylland, Apoel, and Oostende of Belgium. So those are the teams in the pot for this Champions League draw. We will start getting through it and come back once we do get to that last pot and see which group we end up in. And we have gone forward, and here are what the groups look like before the fourth seeds are drawn. Having a quick look through at these groups, I think we really want to get in a group like Group D or Group E, but I think Group D stands out. Porto, Atlanta, and Athletic Club are all kind of decent European teams without being super powerhouses. In all the other groups, there are some massive teams in those groups. If we can end up in Group D, that would be ideal. Any other group apart from D or E, and I think we might be on the end of a few hidings, it is fair to say, because they look like very tough groups. So definitely hoping for Group D in this draw, otherwise E, any of the others. And I don't really have a preference of them, because we are probably going to be finishing last in those groups, but we will see what happens as we make our way through the draw here for the fourth seeds. We will go for Group A first. That is Feyenoord to Group A, PSG, Liverpool, Rangers alongside those guys. So that's a good start. Group B, Fenerbahce to go alongside Chelsea, Inter, and Bayer Leverkusen. Group C is Apoel alongside Real Madrid, Dortmund, and Zenit. So now, ideally, we will get drawn in one of these next two groups. If we can come out in Group D, I will be a very, very happy man, because those other groups look a lot tougher than Group D is. So we'll just see what happens. Will Volsungur come out where we want them to? You betcha they will. That is a great first draw in the Champions League for us. It's still going to be tough for us, but we're not without a hope of getting into third spot in that group. I think they're teams who we potentially could upset when they do make their way to the Laugardarsvola in Reykjavik. So that is a pretty kind draw when you consider what else could have happened to us there in those other Champions League groups. So that is a pretty nice draw for us. Group D alongside Porto of Portugal, Atalanta of Italy, and Athletic Club of Spain. And we will just go through the rest of the teams, and that is what the groups do look like. As I said, I think we're pretty happy with that one. There's a few teams there that when we do get them back to Iceland, we could potentially upset. But that will do it for today's episode. We have made our way into the Champions League group stage proper for the first time in this save. And as you saw before, in the end, we've got a draw which is a little bit kind to us, albeit still going to be tough, but it could have been a lot worse. It is fair to say. In terms of when we will be back for tomorrow's episode, we're probably going to just skim over the league for the rest of this season, seeing as we now only need a few more wins in our next couple of games to secure that title. And with Vela Reykjavik coming up next, that is quite a big game. If we beat those guys, we might even secure the title in that game potentially. But we will come back for the first Champions League group game against Athletic Club away in Spain. And off the back of that, we will find another game to cover as well. If we do beat Fjolnir in the Molkebikeren semi-final, which you would expect of us with Fjolnir being from the second division, we might also have the Molkebikeren final shortly off the back of that. So tomorrow we will definitely have the game against Athletic Club, and we will also hopefully have a Malka Bikeren final or something of similar importance to go alongside that. Otherwise, we might just skip forward a little bit until we get to that Porto game off the back of the end of the domestic season. But if you did enjoy today's episode, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. And until tomorrow, where we kick off our first Champions League group stage campaign, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.